What's poppin', guys? It's me, Casual Kyoka. I'm back with the blinding lights right above me, and we're going to be talking about the two decks that I have ordered that are coming in right now that I'm really excited to get into and play in tournaments. And I guess we'll start off real simple with the Pudding Ramp deck. So OPO9 is going to be coming out very soon, so I took it upon myself to spend all my money before it comes out. In actuality, I'm going to be opening a couple booster boxes with my brother, likely, and hopefully I open some Heat Flames, and I'll be able to make, as you guys have seen from the deck screen, hopefully I can make a Blackbeard and a black-yellow Luffy, or black-purple Luffy, and that should be pretty cool. I'll never make a black-yellow Luffy deck because I hate that deck. So this is the Pudding deck that I have conjured up. It might look familiar. That's because most of the decks that I use, I look through the tournament winners, or I look at like highly ranked decks for these for these leaders. This one is actually a little bit different. If you go on to like the top like tournament placement decks for Pudding, this is probably not the list you're gonna see. I chose to go a little bit different because, frankly, my entire goal for this deck is I'm going to ramp out of my mind, and then I'm going to play Big Moms until I win, which is a really simple win condition, but here we are. I have Capones. Those are going to be pretty good defensive card. If I get the triggers, I can stop them from being able to attack. It's also a 2K. The Brulee is just there for the blocker. It's going to get removed by every black card in the black dictionary, but you know that's how fighting black is. They can probably remove anything on this with minimal effort. So this is kind of like my line. I got my Flampeys, the Capones, and the Frankies. So I am running the 12 2K blockers, which is solid. I got the Pudding in there for the search, so I can search out my Big Moms. As you guys can see, the line, the 3/7 drop Big Moms, 3/9 drop Big Moms, and then 4 the big 10 drop Big Moms. If you guys aren't familiar with what Pudding does, I will go over her real quick. She's a 4-life purple-yellow leader that when she attacks, you may turn 2 cards from the top of your life cards face up, and if you do, you can add 1 Don from your Don deck and rest it. So the optimal kind of like curve is you can, play like maybe some Searchers on turn 1. You're going to attack with Pudding turn 2. And then you can ramp with your Katakuri on turn 3, and then hopefully turn 4, you're going to drop the big fat Big Mom and do some nasty stuff. In terms of other stuff in the deck, I picked up some Violas. So I have a little bit more blockers because I know that the board is going to be really, I'm going to have like a pretty overall offensive board because I'm going to be running the Lin, all 3, the Big Moms. So my board isn't going to be super defensive. It's going to be pretty just like big bodies that are doing a bunch of crazy effects. I have the Sanji in there. Will I ever be below in Dawn? Probably not, but I mean, I guess I have a minus Dawn effect here, but if I can actually, I don't think I'm still going to be able to play him. But he's also a 2K, so that's always nice, just a little bit extra defense. As you guys can see, it's kind of 2K City. So I got 14 2Ks, which is pretty high, but I mean, when my entire goal is just to play Big Moms, I got You're the One Who Should Disappear because I need more. I got, just defense. I got another Searcher. We're going to claim the 1 piece to look for Big Mom Pirates. And then I have 2 Conquests of the Seas just for that extra little bit of removal. It's always nice to be able to, like, because 6 or less, I can clear out Sabos. I can clear out just kind of annoying blockers that might be able to get in the way of my Big Moms from swinging face. Because, I mean, the whole point of the deck is we're going to be pinging their life, and we're going to be swinging face, and we're going to be healing a bunch, and then we try to get down our cheap blockers, Viola and Brulee, and we have a bunch of 2Ks in the hand, hopefully. That's kind of the idea. It's a very simple deck. Do I think it's going to be super good? I don't know. It could be really bricky, because it kind of depends. I kind of have to get my my Katakuri in hand, and if I don't, I mean, there's also the possibility I just don't run into my Big Moms, and if I don't run into my Big Moms, I'm just like, I lose, I'm hoping that doesn't happen because I got the Puddings and we're going to claim the 1 piece. I have 8 searching cards that could hopefully lead me to my Big Moms. But we'll see, obviously. I mean, Another thing about Conquest of the Sea that's really nice is since I'm ramping to 10 so quickly, the -2 Dawn isn't exactly going to hurt me quite as much because um, if I'm at 10, I'll just go down to 8 and I'll gain my 2 more back on the start of my turn. So that's kind of the idea of this deck. It seems really fun. I wanted to do a Big Mom leader. I was going to do the yellow Big Mom. It just didn't feel like it kind of fit what I was trying to do as much, and it didn't seem like there was a lot of success in general with that Big Mom card. While I did think it was kind of a fun-looking card, it looked like it was more built around the idea of you can play some good triggers on top of your life cards after you ping yourself with her ability, and play that down and get some good triggers going. But frankly, I think pudding just kind of fits the playstyle I'm looking for a little bit better because it's just ramp and then play big moms, which is kind of the entire thing of what I'm trying to do here. I mean, the 10 drop big mom, there's got to be enough. There's probably not much that's as satisfying as just being like, I'm going to drop this 10 drop 12k. You're going to take a damage. I'm going to heal one completely. Just nothing you can do about it. Lamau. Like that's gotta feel pretty great. uh, Obviously, this Big Mom is also it's a solid card. I mean, the 7 and 10 Big Moms are probably like the more threatening card overall, but this Big Mom can also be extremely good for removal, uh, and which could be extremely important. I don't really know. I haven't seen this Big Mom quite a lot, so I mean, using her should be pretty interesting experience. Hopefully, it's a good card that does good things. But yeah, that's kind of it with the pudding deck. Really looking forward to playing it. She seems like a fun leader. A little unfortunate that there wasn't like a big mom that actually fit the deck type a little bit better, but it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, once I get these decks, once I get this deck, I'll give you guys an update, and then I'll probably be after I'll play a tournament probably with it, and then I will come to you guys and be like, this is my experience playing my pudding ramp big mom deck. But yeah, so on to the next one. The next one, which is what I think should be my more tournament-oriented deck. If I were like a competitively viable deck, I did go scour the internet for good Bonnie list, and this is kind of my favorite one that I found. It's a little all over the place in terms of like there's a lot of 3 copies, there's a 1 copy, some 2 copies. So consistency could be an issue, but hopefully I don't encounter that issue. I got the Bonnie Searcher, the Baby 5 Searcher, and so I mean the Bonnie Searcher is searching out my supernovas, so I can get like Cavendish, I can get Basil, I can get the Kid. Obviously, I can get Bonnie, and then Baby 5 can search out my 2K if I need it, the Rosinante, and then the Dofi, the 10-drop Dofi, which is kind of like you turn the corner, you hit the Dofi, and hopefully you can kind of control your way from there. It's a really top-heavy deck. Bonnie's leader ability is insanely cracked. If you don't know what it is, I'll go over it real quick. On your opponent's attack once per turn, you can pay 1 Don, and you can rest one of their characters or leaders. No restrictions on the cost or the power. You just rest them and hit the gritty. So that's a pretty good card. It's kind of the control. She seemed like a very blatant control card, which is kind of the decks that I enjoy playing the most. I feel like it's really fun trying to get the most value out of everything, and picking your targets really specifically. I just like it more than kind of like an aggro package. That's probably why I didn't like Vegapunk quite as much, because it does seem to be kind of like a go wide, go crazy type deal. Heal a bunch, go Insano style. This deck is a little bit different, obviously. So going over kind of like the early game, I got my 2K. It's kind of like 2K. We have 8 2Ks in this deck because it's the Viola, Apu, and Baby 5. Plenty of 1Ks because all of the Cavendish, Bonnies, Carrots are all 1Ks, and then the Rosinantes are 1Ks. along with the other 2 searchers. So I do have a decent amount of counter in the deck, and obviously I probably won't need quite as much counter because I'll be resting opponent characters. I do have the Basil Blocker, which is an extremely good card, having 3 of those. The Capone, I haven't played the deck yet, so I mean he's a blocker, which is solid. But my guess is that you kind of use him maybe for like the kid's ability to or I mean I guess you could do that for Rosinante too. But I guess kind of like you use kid, you can tap him and then play down Capone or Rosinante with your kid, your 3-drop, and then you can kind of turtle with the kid. Cavendish, this guy ran my pockets, $20 a card, Jesus. But I mean, again, he's setting Dawn as active so that I can activate my Bonnie ability. That's kind of like you're just trying to have you want to have like at least 1 Dawn at the end of the turn up each turn, which Cavendish kind of enables. Which is I understand why he's a good card. This is a meta deck, so a card that kind of enables some of that stuff because it allows you to play some of your top end stuff. Like you can play your Dofis, you can play your Zoro, which I have 1 of. There's just the 1 of the Zoro. Do I encounter it? I don't know. I'm going to need to see. There might be some consistency issues, but I hope that it doesn't just never show up. It's kind of just like one of those things. Like it could be good. I mean, I have the 3 Hodies in there that could be really good finishers. But essentially, yeah, all this top end. Also, the Rosinante protects my Cavendish Bonnies and Carrots. The Bonnie's not quite as important to protect because hers is an on play, but it just isn't limited by the cost. Carrot is kind of, from what I've been able to gather or hear, is kind of like the goat of the deck. The juicer, which is pretty funny. But these 3 5-drops can get protected by Rosinante with his tap ability when he's rested. And then you can on play you rest him. He protects a 5-drop character. He can also drop a 5-drop character. So having 2 of those can be pretty good, and I can search him out with the Baby 5. I don't know if I have really anything else to go over. I have 2 because the side of justice will be whichever side wins. Just because there's sometimes some scenarios things are pumped, the game's crazy, One Piece goes insane. Where you might need to buff something, maybe a kid, just to keep it alive, so you can have another turn with to turtle. Perhaps the Rosinante, because you're playing against black and they can't remove him, and you just want to try to save your Cavendish or your Carrot from being KO'd by their effects. To buff him, maybe if they're trying to remove it, just stuff like that. Again, this is a deck that it might take a little bit for me to kind of gauge how to pilot it. There is so much top end. There's so much top end that I'm not used to it, and it could be like difficult to kind of gauge. Going from like 0 top end decks to like, oh man, now I'm playing all these things. Like, when do I play what, and what is the best choice when, right? Like, that could come with some learning. But it should be good. I've heard Hodie is funny, and it's a very satisfying feeling to Hodie someone, which should be interesting. I'm hoping that the deck looks fun. I really like the top-end green cards. The Dofi just seems super satisfying. You just pick 3 of their characters. You just leader and character. So you could just do it to their leader if you're a dickhead, which, I mean, sometimes I might be a dickhead. Didn't even, reading the card explains the card. The Zoro, I mean, again, it's kind of just like if I get it, I might be able to pop off. And let's say I have the Zoro on the field and I play out my Dofi, I rest some stuff. Cavendish, attack, I get my 2 Dawn. My 2 Dawn is active, and I can restand him once, so I get another attack, and then have 1 open for my Bonnie ability. I mean, it just seems like a really like the deck flows pretty well. The Cavendish enables a lot, so it's gonna be hard, kind of knowing when to swing with him and stuff like that. So I'm really looking forward to playing this deck. This is what I plan on making my main tournament deck as of right now until the Blackbeard and the Luffy come out. Then I'll kind of gauge them and see how I'm feeling about them. The Luffy seems fun just because I want to play Gear 5 Luffy, and I want to play the 10-drop Gear 5 Luffy, and I want to play all the events. I want to play the jump rope and the giant, and I'm like, this is going to be really fun. So that one a little bit biased because I really like the look of Gear 5. Um, but not really. They're not. They don't seem to be the control type. I mean, Blackbeard, I guess yeah, it's a pretty control-y deck, but it's just black, which as a color just yeah, it's just so annoying, dude. I'm gonna play this thing, and then they're gonna kill that thing I just placed, and then I'm gonna play this thing, and then they're gonna kill that thing that I placed, and then I'm gonna play this thing, and they're gonna kill that thing that I placed, and guess what? I have no board, and they have 8Ks on the field, and oops, you know, and then they play Sabo, and I can't even remove them back, and then they draw a bunch, and yeah, it's and then they play Gecko, and then and then yeah, so I'm just not a huge fan of black decks, so maybe Blackbeard won't be for me. But as far as I'm aware, most of his list are like kind of condensed within like the Blackbeard pirate, like type. So it's not running like Sabos, it's not running like Geckos. So because you got on play effects, and obviously you don't want to play any on play effects with the Blackbeard deck. So maybe it'll be the first black deck that I enjoy because they're rather annoying to fight. That's why I hate Luffy so much. I'd say I read that black yellow Luffy. God damn, man. But that's kind of it for this one. I don't really think I have much else to say. Yeah, I kind of went over everyone. In that note, I think I'll just go over these two later when they actually like release, which is gonna sound weird. Yeah, I think I'll just stop with these two for now. And next video, I'll go over the Perona and the Kid. The Kid will be covering some OP09 stuff, which I might pull up on a separate tab to talk about, so that you can kind of see what I'm talking about. But he's getting some decent support, so I'm thinking about running a Kid deck, and I think that could be really fun because he's kind of been not considered very great. And hopefully some of the power, the upgrades will help him out quite a bit. But yeah, guys, thanks for listening to me yap about those two decks. I hope to be able to bring those to some tournaments really at some point here in the near future, and maybe I'll be able to bring some gameplay to the channel or something, which could be pretty dope. But yeah, sayonara.